So The Last of Us Season 2 wrapped up about a month ago now, and this season has gotten me really annoyed. I'm new to The Last of Us series, but I'm not gonna lie, it's become my second favorite story of all time, next to Star Wars. My opinion of the previous Last of Us titles are as follows. Part 1, a near flawless story with a slightly undercooked middle. Mainly the scenes in Jackson could have been executed better, but other than that, the story is near perfect, with some rather underappreciated gameplay, 9 out of 10. Part 2, easily the best story game of the century. All the hate it got when released was mostly bullshit. It's bold and innovative in both story and gameplay, and it wraps up in a very satisfying way while leaving room for a potential Part 3. 10 out of 10. I'd give it an 11 if I could. Season 1, probably the best adaptation of a game I've seen. It makes the perfect changes to the story for it to work as a TV show. It fixed my problems with the scenes in Jackson in Episode 6. Episode 3 is without a doubt the most moving love story I've ever seen. Another slam dunk, 10s across the board. Now, Season 2 has been very up and down for me. In some instances, it does stuff better than the game. For example, how Ellie finds out Joel lied, I think was rather better than in the game, but that comes with its own caveats. I love how there was no definitive falling out point, but a more gradual falling out as Ellie slowly gets confirmation over the years that Joel lied to her. I also think Joel's death was handled extremely well, but for the slightly different reasons. Joel's death works in the game to put us in Ellie's shoes, witnessing the horror of what happened to him, and when it actually happens, we're just as angry and devastated as she is. The show evokes this too, but in a broader sense, from multiple perspectives. We can feel what each character is feeling. Dina and Joel's general confusion of the situation, and Joel realizing that his sins have caught up with him. Abby's no shit attitude and the emptiness she feels after his death. Abby's friends are clearly upset about what's happening, and I'm gonna be honest, I always look away when Abby delivers the final blow to Joel. Juxtaposed to the devastating Battle of Jackson, where Tommy does everything he can to protect the town while Joel died thinking everyone he loved was dead. It was almost perfect. However, the big caveat to this is that I don't like that Abby gives a monologue explaining to Joel and the audience why she is doing this. In the game, it's a mystery as to why she's doing it. We're supposed to hate her as much as Ellie does, and then we learn to like her as the story goes on. And I don't think the story works chronologically in this way. And I tried putting myself in the shoes of someone who hasn't played the game and is experiencing this season for the first time, and I don't think I'd like the show. It feels like Neil Druckmann listened to the bogus criticisms of the game and kind of overcorrected in a way, and it leads to the other stuff I did not like about the show. First of all, Tommy was kind of done dirty. The game never really focused on him much, but after episode 6 of season 1 and episode 2 of season 2, I expected him to have a bigger role in the show, especially after the scene of him defending Jackson to his last breath. I kind of thought he'd have more to do this time around. I thought that in the game, he would go after Abby first before Ellie and Dina do. And throughout the game, we're constantly hearing what Tommy did and seeing the effects of what he's doing as we're exploring Seattle. But that's not here, and it removes a layer of tension to the story. Another big issue I have is Ellie and Dina. They changed their romance from the game in a way that I do not think works. In the game, when Ellie finds out that Dina is pregnant, she is very justifiably upset over this.
I think I'm pregnant. I just need to rest for a second.
Are you fucking kidding?
How long have you known? I was late a few weeks ago.
A few weeks? We could have still turned back.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure, okay? I didn't want to be a burden.
Well, you're a burden now, aren't you?
In the show, for some reason, she's so thrilled and happy about it when she's in a war zone.
Holy shit. I'm gonna be a dad. Yeah.
Not only that, she lets Dina join her on her hike to the hospital to find Nora, which results in her getting shot and Jesse dragging her back to the theater. This amount of stress would absolutely harm the baby, and it's something never brought up again. This was Ellie's fault. I don't like throwing around the word character assassination much because I think it's stupid, but I genuinely think that's what they did to Ellie here. She is characterized to deeply care about the people around her, and she would never put Dina in this situation willingly. This is also a symptom of them making Ellie too incompetent. In the game, she's a beast. She won't let anything get in the way. She plans everything and kills an entire army to get to Abby. But in the show, she's always being saved by someone else, more competent. Another thing that annoys me are the little changes made to the story. It feels like the justification for adapting the game is to fix the little CinemaSins-esque complaints people levied among the first game in bad faith that don't need fixing. Why is Abby so buff and swole in a universe where you need to conserve your food? Okay, she's a 5'2" skinny woman now. Why is Ellie wearing Converse sneakers in this mission where it'll weigh her down? Dina pokes fun at it.
Boots. Love the Converse. Respect your consistency, but you're not crossing open country in fucking Chucks.
I've done it before.
No Chucks.
Why does Joel tell these people his name when he doesn't know who they are? Well, Dina accidentally leaks it to Abby. And all these simple quote-unquote fixes don't make the story any better. They seem really petty. It's like EFAP wrote this show. If anything, these changes detract from the story. Joel telling these people his name is representative of how comfortable he's become living in Jackson and how he's shed his paranoid survivor's ways. Abby, being extremely buff, shows her unhealthy discipline and obsession with her revenge quest. People say that these changes make the story more realistic, but I'm not watching the Mushroom Zombie movie for realism. I'd prefer more changes that prove why this game should be a TV show, like the Bill and Frank episode of Season 1, or the changes they made to Henry and Sam's subplot. We have so much to work with here, but we don't have any episodes like that this time around. Now my biggest problem with this season, and now the entire show, is the ending of episode 6. All things considered, I love this episode, and it's Season 2's best episode. But the problem with it is the final scene. In the game, it was the final scene of the whole story, where Ellie flashed back to the final conversation she had with Joel, where she talks about forgiveness for what Joel did, juxtaposed to the present where she's left with nearly nothing. But by placing it here, the flashback episode, in the middle of the story, it functionally spoiled the ending of the whole series. By the time Season 4 wraps up, they won't play this scene again because Pedro Pascal is now an A-lister and they won't want to pay him to use his likeness. Actually, why is this game being adapted over 3 seasons? The game is not long enough to justify it. We have 7 episodes for Ellie's story, Abby's story is barely long enough for 5 episodes, and the last chunk of the game, how do you adapt that into an entire season of television? I think if they gave Craig and Neil one season with 14 episodes, I think they would have done just fine. This is why I tend not to like TV shows as opposed to movies. TV shows try and overstay their welcome. They try and stretch out a story longer than it needs to be, just to keep you subscribed to a streaming service or network long enough, only to bait you for another season.
Sonic, what do you think you're going, you motherfucking... Oh, he's cockblocking me, get him!
All in all, this season was kinda messy. Its structure was whack and made questionable choices, but overall, I guess I enjoyed it. Emotionally, it's incredible, well shot, and the acting is so on point, it's mind-blowing. We will truly never have actors like Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal again. But it still really disappointed me, and it did kinda kill my hype for Season 3 a lot. So, my final score for Season 2 of The Last of Us is a 5 out of 10.